I'm just understanding more and more every day. But how the Northern Kingdom followed Ashtoreth, the Statue of Liberty is her. She was a trap. The prodigal son went out to make money and have his pleasures. And that's what America was all about. And don't get me wrong, America was a torch in his hand, he says. But now I understand what they've done. And they've created the wealth of the world. Okay? They created the wealth of the world in order to give it to the children at the end. Everybody says, I hear people saying, trust the plan, trust the plan. And like, we plan and God laughs. Trust him, I say. Trust his plan. And you see it written that way. You see how it is. And it's written that these things would happen. Babylon doesn't get healed. I'm sorry, but it's true. I don't care what kind of prayers you do. It becomes witchcraft too. You do what you see the Father doing, and that's all you're supposed to do. Not go on your own way and declare and decree and what you ought not to, because you're going against his kingdom. What happens when you go against witchcraft is disobedience, right? So if you're praying exactly against what the Father's doing, don't you think that would be a curse and not a blessing? What if Jesus was cursing that cross? But that's what the test was. He could have cursed it, I guess. Of course he could have. But it was there to be the end for him. The Tav. The ox, which is the Aleph, working its way through the field to the Tav. That's how it makes a straight line. That's how he tells me to walk now. With him in front of my face. No one else. I am sovereign under my king. I have been taught to be afraid of breaking man's laws instead of breaking God's. I was taught that it was okay to break God's, but not okay to break man's laws. And this is simply not true. And I keep all the laws until it goes against my Father's laws. And then I have a right to, curse you. I have a right to go up to the courts of heaven and bring judgments on you if you're judging my family unrighteously, or if you're judging me that way. That's how it comes. And what happens is then you become, it literally is another animal kingdom, and that's why there's fighting in the heavens and fighting on the earth too, because everybody's taking their kingdoms. Everybody's taking their places. Joe Biden wants the soul of America. He wants to own you, and he does legally by you agreeing to their plan or what they're doing. Then they legally own you because they sold you as products and gave you as collateral to the bankers. So now ultimately that's the pyramid that they built. It's the bankers own everything, don't they? What happens if everybody... You see, it was all set up by them. They would relieve you of your taxes, so they basically made tax breaks for the bankers. So they would relieve you of taxes. When I came to Arizona, I had the money. God gave me the money to actually buy our house free and clear. And because of the tax write-off, and they were giving me like a $5,000 give back to do a loan, I got a loan on the house. And the tax write-off is basically, if you have a home interest, you could write that off on your taxes. Meaning the whole IRS was set up, it was all an evil system to enslave us. The whole thing. The Federal Reserve is not even an American, it's not, It's not our governments. It's not American. They've built all these corporations to run us, and now they will own us. What's it called? The movie Demolition Man, I think it was called. Where at the end, it was run by corporations. The only restaurant that was left was Taco Bell. And this is just the way it's coming. They've been telling us through the TV, through the boob tube, because they're creating the reality that they want to create. This is all a big delusion. Or illusion. But it's a bit of a delusion as well. So what I'm saying is, by going with their plan, you are literally owned by them and the Vatican and the bankers and Britain. This is the Babylonian beast that is coming up. They've created us, okay? And by this Constitution, by the freedom, they did it. And so it was to grow. It was God's plan. It was God's whole plan for the fall anyway. You think he didn't know that was going to happen? He declared the end from the beginning. Make no mistake. We're all just pieces of him playing it out on this earth. And we'll find out one day that his history is his story. It's who he is. You'll see it all in him. From when he split the atom and created something. So, what I'm saying is, come out of Babylon. The time is now to come out of her. I can't be ruled by the lawlessness going on up there. I'm sorry. We're moving out to another country. Yes. But right now, my land, my house is another country, just like DC is too. So I declare that, and anybody that goes anywhere near my property is cursed by angels all around us. We have a fire around our house that anybody that comes around burns them. This is the glory that's coming. So praise Yah. If you come out of Babylon, you go into his protection through praise and worship, you will make it through the tribulation days that are coming, that are here. But you have to praise him. You have to be one with him. You have to live with him and listen to him, even if he tells you to do odd things. I do odd things all the time. I test hearts for a living. Good and bad, it doesn't matter. From police to the thief, I test their hearts. It doesn't matter who. From leaders now he's having me do it with leaders too. But see, there's a spiritual thing going on. But right now, they are going to be trying to kill the prophets. They're going to be trying to kill us. And that's what's going to be happening because they don't want those waking up. You see, there's a harvest going on. And they want, the harvest is, you're no higher than your master. Okay? So who's your master? And I've declared that God is my master now. I have no other king, nobody above me. And as far as I know, there is nobody above me. That way. I'm Eliyahu. It's my job to do. So the thing is now, his kingdom is coming. And it's coming through, and it's coming through all of us. And you will find your rightful place. The shaking is happening, so everything goes to its rightful place. He wants the fat up on top, okay? And it's his choice. So that's what we're doing. We're rising up to the top, and when we become one with him, and you become one with the host of heavens too, because all that is in him is in you. It's only as big as your menorah can light. Your aura gets so big that you're literally part of the universe, all the planets. So, what am I saying now? Here we are. Time has come. So come out of Babylon, declare your sovereignty under the original Constitution. Declare your sovereignty under that. Because they tricked us. They tricked us through their laws, and they always tell us what they're doing. You know, it's funny, Biden even told us he created, with Obama people, they created the biggest voter fraud system in the world. He said it. Oh, it was a mistake. I didn't mean to say it. Oh, like Obama didn't mean to call his wife Michael. And Obama didn't mean to call ISIL his people. It's all, they tell you what they're doing, and you don't believe it. It's your problem. You go right here, right here. I like to take the furthest one if there's a lot of open. This is the kingdom we've come to. So we get to choose. If somebody judges us, I get to basically now, when you misjudge me, and that's why I was he calls me the stumbling block, a snare. I came sneaky from underneath here, from nowhere. And I've been testing people all along, not knowing it's him doing it in me. And what happens is, and if you go against, I can actually take your garment. I can take your authority. I can absorb your light, if that makes sense. Or I can cut it off. I can do things. I can manipulate it legally by his laws. People do that illegally, and it's like psychic vampires. That's what happened to me most of my life. People were eating off of me because I had a good heart, and I was able to, and so people just loved me, and they just ate off me, kind of thing. And then I learned, it was because I was getting it from above, and then I learned I didn't have to give it anymore. And I can cut these things off, and now I can keep my energy. And the amazing thing is, now whatever they've taken illegally, if it's the enemy, you can get that sevenfold back. So all these things from the past, where I remember that somebody's like sucked my heart out, came back to me now, sevenfold. See, that's why Satan's here, is to curse you so that you raise up sevenfold. So this animal kingdom is you can eat energy, and that's what they're after. This is what he tells me. It could be crazy, but this is what I know. That's why all these people in charge right now, they have gotten there by pedophilia and drinking blood and these kind of things. I'm not saying all, but most, okay? And in order to work in this world that was done by the enemy, built by ego, that's what they did. But now, a kingdom's coming from heaven down. And as above, so below, we get to overtake the kingdom down here. I get to push all them under my feet, you see. Now that he called Biden, Mr. Double Judgment, called my people, or the people that were there, a riotous mob, and called us domestic terrorists, I get to curse him. Anywhere he's involved with any terrorism, which I know he is, ISIL, remember? Watch them come back to life. Thank you, Trump, for keeping everything at bay in truth for the last 4 years. But watch these others come to Trump. Because what they want is a one-world government, you see. It's a snake going through this serpent, going through this whole earth. It's a beast. And it gets to be slain by the children of Yah, by following his laws and having the Spirit, and walking in faith, and doing what he tells you to do at every moment. Not being afraid of the world, but being afraid of him. That's your only place to fear, is him. Nowhere else. But they've taught us you need to fear this and that and this and that. Oh my gosh. I was afraid to give my son CBD. I was. Why? I don't know. Because I heard there's like a little bit of THC in there. What if it turns it and makes it positive, and I take my kids and do all this stuff? And I'm like, I was living in a state of fear. Why? The children taking and that kind of stuff, and God curse you. God cursed them for anything to do with cannabis, because that's God's medicine. It's none of their business. None of their business. None of their business. Cursed be them. But then you come to find out that the people protecting the children are actually the ones enslaving them and trafficking them. What kind of world do we live in? Oh, the United Nations child protective people, they're literally child trafficking molesters, and they want a steady supply of children and aborted babies and this and that, because it feeds them. It feeds the underworld. You can get ready, you want to go on it. It feeds the underworld. So now is the time for his kingdom to come. Now is the time for his kingdom to come. We get to choose. I get to bless and curse where I may. Now I get to curse them all there for what they've done and what they say. All of DC, you're going away. You don't deserve to be anywhere near anything holy. Be gone. That's what I see. You see being judged, and most of you are evil too. You know that, how it runs. By the money and the serpent. And he gets to spit them out of his mouth. Come out of her. Don't partake of her sin or her wrath, because God's bringing it to her. Declare your sovereignty under your king. The time is now.